So good afternoon everyone. So what I'm going to demonstrate is a short ride using some of the features that or using the features that are available on the TFT nav screen. As you can see here, I've arrived in the middle of a pre-planned ride, but I haven't been following the early part of it. So what I'm going to do is skip waypoints now until I'm or skip the first 8 waypoints. As you can see, waypoint 9 is showing there, and I do that by using the menu button on the left hand side here to drop down onto the navigation screen, and it then brings us up with a full picture. And then if you look to the right hand side of the map, you see 3 dots. If you then push the wonder wheel to the left, it opens up the menu for behind those 3 dots, and then you can use the wonder wheel to dial up or down the menu options, and the very bottom option is to skip waypoint. So we'll do that a few times. It'll recalculate that each time. We probably want to do 8 of them at the moment. So here we go, skip waypoint. Number 3. This is useful to do if you have to be diverted off the route for whatever reason, roadworks, or you get lost or whatever, and rather than being forced back round to the waypoint that you missed, or the waypoints that you missed, you can simply go in and skip them so that you're riding to the next logical waypoint ahead of you without having to go back and do a whole bunch of riding back roads that you've already followed. So almost there. There we go. So the blue line to the left, the road to the left is now no longer blue, and it's telling me to go right onto the next waypoint, which is waypoint 9, which is great. Okay, the other things we can do. So again, go under that 3 waypoint, or that 3 dots for the next menu. We can repeat instruction if you need to listen to the instruction again. And then the route preview, which is quite useful as well. So again, using the wheel, I can click into the menu under route review, and it tells me I can look at the route to the next maneuver, which is literally, if I click on that, it's literally showing me the road to the next maneuver, which is driving out of this pub car park. If I then wander down, it then tells me I can then select to have a look at the closer look at the route to the next waypoint, which is waypoint 9. So once again, it's not too far away, but what I can do is I'll just pop in and skip waypoint 9. There we go, and then we can have a look at route preview, and then we can have a look into the next waypoint, which is a bit further away. So that you can see. Okay, so route to waypoint 10. If you click the opposite direction on the wheelie wonder wheel, you go back to the previous screen. So let's click into start route preview again. We've clicked to the next waypoint, we've looked to the next maneuver, we've looked to the next waypoint. We can now view the entire route, which is useful. It centers it in the screen. If you just zoom out on your current route, you don't always get to see the whole route. It's sometimes off the screen, but if you use this method, you can see the whole route on your screen. You can't zoom in, I'm afraid, from what I can see, but what you can do is if you click down on the wonder wheel again into something called manual mode, and then select manual mode, you can now see a lot more of the route once, and it's now scrollable within that blue line. So look to the left of the screen and you can see a magnifying glass plus or minus. If you left click on the wonder wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out by twisting the wonder wheel. So here we go, we can zoom in on that, or we can zoom out on it, of course, and we can also move it along depending on the zoom level. So if I click to the right, nope, my mistake. So we start route preview, manual mode, okay, and I can move along by twisting the wonder wheel. I can move along part of the route that I'm in, and if I left click on the wonder wheel, I can zoom out a little bit, or a lot, and then left click again just closes that left hand zoom, and then I can carry on using the manual mode to look into the map in a little bit more detail. So if I want to zoom in on that a little bit more, I can then zoom around and look a little bit more closely at what's going on. I find that is actually quite a useful thing when you're riding around. It's more for information than anything else. And that's it. Obviously you can look at your screen, you can zoom out, standard zoom out, left clicking on the wonder wheel, and it'll zoom out. As long as your route's going north, you'll get the whole thing on your screen. If some of your route's going south, then you won't see it on this view. You'd have to go back in and look at it in a different way. So while we're on the screen, in full screen mode, again, if you click down on the menu button, you can enter the sub menus in the navigation system. We can talk about active route guidance. Using the wonder wheel, we can select or deselect what we want, so we can listen to the current instruction. We can skip waypoint, so we can do the skipping of the waypoint from here, and we can end route guidance if we wish. Left click on the wonder wheel takes us back a page. We can select a new destination. They're either recent destinations, favourites, so I have a whole bunch of favourites in here, which makes life easier when you're navigating. It's a good idea to put your coffee shops and your destinations in as favourites, because if you get lost and you just want to get there, you can just select it and go directly. And points of interest along the route at the current location, at destination, they're also fairly logical to use. I haven't yet figured out how I can add my own points of interest. You're sort of limited to the ones on the app. So left clicking out of that, and then we got settings. This is interesting and pretty important actually. On the right route criteria, you can select what route you want, fast, short, efficient, winding, and what avoidances you want to follow. Now, something to take note of is if you're doing the nav planning on the app on your phone, and you select to avoid motorways or toll routes, once you connected it to the bike, make sure you select those avoids on the bike as well, because the bike will override what's on the app. So if you put avoid motorways on the app and it's given you a lovely route, and then you connect it to the bike and you don't avoid motorways on the bike, then you'll find yourself going down motorways. Quite annoying, but it's good to know. And then the map view you want, map mode, automatic, daylight or nighttime, display, perspective, north, journey or perspective. We'll play around with journey. I think that's okay. That's looking as if you're looking down from a height, so it's like 2D rather than 3D. And north obviously keeps the map oriented to north, so your position changes. I prefer perspective. And then you can show traffic, show POIs on the map, show favourites, activate auto zoom, and that's basically it on the map view side of life. And then the remaining items is whether you have spoken instruction or not. I don't tend to have that, and whether you can have spoken instruction during calls. And then the last item is stop and start map mode. This is one of the things I showed in another video, where if your map mode, if your application crashed, it's rejoined and you're only getting turn by turn, you can try selecting start map mode, and if everything's okay, it should restart like it just did there. And then press the menu button, the top of the menu button, for 2 seconds, and you automatically go back to that view there. Thanks very much for watching.